This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so we are recording, and which, by the way, means the cameras are being recorded. So if you don't want to be recorded, you can click your camera off for the moment. Otherwise, let's get right to it. I want to deal with some of the preliminary setup things and make sure everybody's kind of all set up and ready to go. So I think what we've touched on so far includes the home page, which of course you can toggle on and off. And a lot of people use it as their startup. So when you go to the program settings and you decide at startup, these are the things that you can open to. You can open to a blank layout. You can open to a most recent layout on any machine, or the most recent layout on your local machine. You can start with a homepage layout, or any of the created layouts that you've saved. Goodness, I've saved a lot of these. So yeah, you can start with the home page, the blank layout, the most recent layout, two different kinds of most recent layouts on any machine or on your local machine. Do you understand the difference between those? So like my Pulpit laptop, when I take that into the Pulpit, when I start Logos there, then I have a layout there that's called it's called Pulpit Streaming, and it has the Pulpit Streaming layout is designed specifically for having a popped out Bible window that lays on top of a PowerPoint slideshow. That's we've become accustomed to using that in our Bible classes, and so that's the layout that I start with on that laptop, which is a local layout. And I wouldn't want to start it here on this machine because it's, I have no purpose for that here at home or in my office. So
I'm missing something. Where did you find program settings? I can't find that.
Oh, okay. Great question. So you can get to it a couple of places. In the top right corner is this hamburger menu item here in the top right corner of the toolbar. And you've got program settings about halfway down that list there.
Oh, okay. That brings up that window you were in.
Right. It brings up this whole program settings control panel right there. Another way to get there is from the tools menu. You can get to program settings from the tools menu. Okay. And if you prefer to do that, then you can pin it to the top here. Because they made it so easy to get there.
Only one way, because I'm going to have trouble remembering 4 or 5 different ways, Bob. I have been working on this for 30 years.
Gotcha. Yeah, there are 3 or 4 ways to do everything, and so yeah, even from the Go box.
I found what you were talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't have. I guess I don't have the formats that you have, because mine looks different. I've got an application theme, all startup open to, check spelling while typing, ... I don't have any kind of formats set up. That's probably my fault.
Oh, you're talking about the layouts to start up?
Yeah.
Well, we can create some of those, and I think there might be.
That's what I've got right there.
Right there. Yeah. So the second option down, after you have application theme, then you have at startup open to. What do you have yours set to? Blank layout or home page?
Well, I don't think it's set to anything really. I mean, I've got home, blank layout, most recent layout, any, and most recent layout local, but I don't think it's set to anything.
Well, whichever one you click to make that menu disappear, then when that menu disappears, it just sits there like that. And mine currently says blank layout.
That's what mine says. Okay, so if I do most recent layout, then.
Right. And as soon as you select it, then that's what it's going to remember the next time you start the program.
Oh, so it'll show up that way when I start the program.
Right. Right. So that may be useful for you. For example, if you really enjoy looking at this home page, then you might want it to just start that way, right when you first load the program. And that way you can see your daily devotions, you can see your reading plans, you can see some of the other explored features, things like that. It just all depends on what you prefer, your own personal tastes and preferences. Also, by the way, another control item there. Anytime you see that gear logo, that little gear icon is totally all about the this little gear icon right there is all about the settings.
Okay.
All right. So have you dragged any books to your toolbar? Any resources?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay. So that's also useful. To me, that's the quickest way to open a Bible like that, to open the Strong's Lexicon if I want to look at that, to open Treasury of Scripture Knowledge if I want to look at that, to open A.T. Robertson if I want to look at that. So some of the more common resources that I'm looking at constantly, I throw them to the toolbar to bring them up at any moment.
Okay, so when I open one, it opens to the right side, but the left side is still blank for me.
Okay.
So how do I mirror that? Or what do I do if I want both of them opened up?
Yeah. So I think the first one you open is just by default going to go to that right side. And if you want to drag it over to the left, you can just drag it like that. I think the second one you open up.
Oh, it did that.
Opens on the other side. So if I start with a Bible and put it over there, and then I open up something different, it's going to go to the empty spot.
So how do you do a tri-column format? Like when I've seen you set it up with the Greek and the Hebrew and then, the English. So how do you do a tri-column?
Okay, so there's a couple ways. So I'll show you one.
Tell me the easiest, Bob. I mean, yeah. I'm just scrolling now.
No, this is good. So like right here inside this window is already 2 columns, or it could be 3 if I go to an Old Testament text. And this is by virtue of this button right here. It's called Multiple Resources Display. So I'm going to back up just a little bit because I use this one so much, and I think it's handier than having 2 separate windows side by side. But if the traditional way of doing it is to open an English Bible and then to open a Hebrew Bible. Let me just open there, my Lexham Hebrew English Interlinear Bible. All right, so you can open 2 Bibles and then you can link them together in the link sets, like link set A and link set A, and now they will follow each other. So
like if you go to a different book, the other one will follow?
Right, so if I go from Psalm 22 to Psalm 23, the other one follows. And every time I go down a verse or up a verse, these windows are going to stay in sync. So that's kind of the traditional way of doing it. That's doing it with 2 separate resources side by side. Okay. And then so that's one way of doing that. Now they added a feature where they could kind of maximize their screen space. So I'm going to go ahead and close that one. And you can do this with multiple resources, but or really anything that you happen to have open in a panel. And that's what I think this is called, a panel that you can move around and reposition on your screen. But so rather than having two separate panels that are linked together, you actually are going to open up resources in the same panel. And that's done right here on your toolbar in the thing called Multiple Resources Display. And without seeing your screen, I guess I want to kind of work my way left to right across this toolbar. Everybody should have this control panel next to their Go box. And then you have your Bible reference panel. It tells you where you are. You're in Psalm 23. Then you have an inline search magnifying glass. Everybody have that?
Yeah.
Then you have 3 dots for your visual filters. Does everybody have that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have the fact book visual filter, the check mark box for the fact book. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have an alpha and omega for your interlinears.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have the parallel lines here called multiple resources display. And this is where if you want to open up a second or a third or however many you want, really, you can open up multiple resources inside the same panel. And so that's what I've done here. And until you select the ones that you want to use, and so right now, and this caret next to the icon helps you to select which ones you want to do. And right now I have.
You can open them up like you got, and then you can take it to a full screen so you can see it better.
Right. So yeah, you can drag that full screen, and now your columns are wider. Because yeah, it's a little bit more cramped right there. It does let you toggle pretty quickly between horizontal and vertical.
Oh, okay.
And you notice the icon changed its direction there. Now it's horizontal, whereas there it's vertical. So they do give you an option there that's pretty handy. If I wanted to, for example, let me go ahead and unselect these, and then I'm going to look for a Christian Standard Bible. There we go. So now I've got the New American Standard parallel with the Christian Standard Bible. And again, as I go verse by verse, both are going to. So in other words, it doesn't have to be an English Bible and a Hebrew Bible, or an English Bible or a Greek Bible. Those tend to be my more common ones, but you could do multiple English Bibles in parallel. I think you could even do a commentary. Let me exit that, turn that off, and the Bible Knowledge Commentary. So now I've got a Bible and a commentary, and they're now placed into the same window. You know, I can move them to different places. And it's just a way of having multiple resources in the same panel, called the multiple resource display. And so yeah, play around with that, find things that you like. And if you really find a setting that you know you're going to come back to again and again, then in this drop down here, this caret that drops down, this might want to be something that I'm going to save as a future option. So I'm going to save that, and now it'll show up as a saved. It'll show up as a saved multiple resource view menu right there.
So you can open it up again real easy.
Right, right.
Okay. So I got a question,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking about this the other day. The program that we get is basically the same program that you have, except that you've got, you know, years of buying your library. So the search engine is the same, right?
The searches are the same. The engine itself is the same. Most of the features are the same. We learned last week that one of the features that you guys don't have is the capacity to put pictures into your note files. And so I asked about that for Adam, and that's an upgrade, and I don't remember now how they explained that. Let me pull that up. So when you open your note files, if I was to make a new note here on this, I'm just going to add a note on Rakma. So in the notes utility, this little icon right there for adding a picture, apparently that's not in your installation. So you've got most of these other items in your toolbar, but you don't have that picture icon there. And I didn't realize that until last week when Adam highlighted that he didn't have that. So I did send an email to tech support, and I got a reply back. It had a link, and I forwarded that to Adam. Let me remind myself real quickly what that was about. So yes, thank you for contacting us. Your Logos for the Church package does not have the feature insert media in notes. Here's the link where you can see the packages you can purchase to get this feature. And so I'll bring this up and you'll see it. Insert media in notes. Product only available for purchase in, but now there's a chat bot that wants to help us. Only available for purchase in one of the collections below. So if that's something that's really important to you, or if it's important to Adam, I mean, if you really want to put pictures in your notes, then you can go to this link. I will put it in your chat window here. You'll see it there in your chat window. So if you want to bookmark that or browse that after class, then you'll see the different collections. And there's probably going to be some pretty cheap collections for you to be able to get some of those features. All right. So this is good. I'm glad we're doing this.
I've got another question. If I wanted to look and see what Bibles are already included in my package, how do I do that?
Excellent question. Let's do that together. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to delete this note I just made for myself. All right, and I'll close that. So open up your library.
Okay, that's the book thing, looking thing. Okay.
Yep. And drag it down to your desktop. And if you want, you can drag it full screen, so that gives you the maximum area there to look at. Then what I recommend is opening up your sidebar. That's the one that toggles open and close right there to the left of where it says find resources. And then under the filter for type, you should see type Bible. And you can click type Bible, and that will narrow down your resources to only those resources that are classified as Bible.
It looks like I've got 5 in there,
Okay.
I guess.
Well, that's a manageable list then, because I've got 763. So
Yeah.
what are the five that show up for you there?
Well, hold on a second. I've got to, I'm having a problem making this a full screen again. Oh, here they are. English Standard Version, the Greek New Testament, King James, the Lexham Study Bible, and the Lexham Hebrew Bible. So I guess that's all I've got.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I bet those are the first 5 listed for you.
Oh, well, if I sort them by, see, I've got them sorted by title rather than, and there's so many of them.
Don't worry about it. I mean, but
Yeah. Carl, do you have a similar list?
I have 13.
13. Okay.
well, maybe I
But
haven't downloaded them yet.
Well, some of it, yes, but you've unlocked some more beyond the Bibles that come with the church license. Is that right?
Did you buy them, Carl?
I only bought one. I bought the NASB 1995 edition paragraph version. That's the only one I bought.
How much did that cost you?
It wasn't maybe $10. I don't remember. It wasn't much. Yeah, but so I don't know where the other 6 or 7 came from. My library though, every time, like, so I'm on a laptop, so I'm having to toggle back and forth between the GoToMeeting screen and my Logos screen.
Okay.
So every time I click off of the Logos and then to GoToMeeting and then go back to Logos, my library disappears. So for some reason, my library is not, like, when I click it and open it, it doesn't stay open like a window frame.
Oh, okay. So yeah, a single click on the library opens the library as a drop down, right? And that is going to toggle on and off, and that's going to disappear in a heartbeat, as soon as you click away from it. So a better thing to do is to click and drag and then drop it down there on your desktop. That'll leave it open as a panel.
Oh, okay.
You can also right click it and open it as a floating window.
All right.
And that will also stay open until you intentionally close it.
Yeah. So that did it. So yeah, I have 13, and the only one out of that I bought was the NASB 95 paragraph.
Okay. Yeah, I'm what I should do is get Sharon's got an installation too that's supposed to match what everybody else has on the Logos for Windows. This is the website here from Faith Life, Logos for the Church. And it's supposed to include these 3 English Bibles, English Standard Version, the Lexham English Bible, and the King James.
Well, I guess that's what I've got
Okay.
with the Bible commentary.
Right. And then there's 17 commentaries, 2 Bible encyclopedias. But then you should also have a Greek New Testament SBL edition.
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay. And a Lexham Hebrew Bible with morphology.
Yeah, I think I've got that.
Okay, so yeah, I guess they're counting that as 5 if you're counting 5 Bibles. All right, so yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining since they gave it to me. I'm just a little confused.
Right. So that's your Bible. Now, if you remove that as a filter, then you got all of your resources again. You can select Bible commentary, and with each of these filters, as you select them and deselect them, these are useful ways to look through your library and see what you have. And of course, if you remove all the filters, then you get the total list of every unlocked resource in your library. So yeah, those filters are very handy. Now, also, I keep showing you more ways to do the same thing over and over again. But with your library maximized like this, one thing you can do is you can, instead of sorting it by title, you can come over here and you can sort it by type. And just by clicking on the heading, do you see how I just did that? So this is the normal view where I have it sorted by title. If I come over here and I click on the type column, just clicking on that type column reorganizes my library to sort it by type. And now I can scan down the list. This might be a better way to do it than using those filters. Now I can glance down this list and I can see all of the different types of resources in my library, like sermons and service book and study Bible and study guide and systematic theology and all these things, grammar, handbook, encyclopedia, dictionary. And so by sorting the library by type, then if there's a particular type that I'm interested in, like an autobiography, I can expand that. And now I can see all of the autobiographies that are in my library. Or I can see all my atlases, or I can see all my apparatuses. Apparati? What's the plural of apparatus? Apparati? Ancient manuscripts. And this is why some of these are tagged twice. Some of these are tagged, I think, I better double check that, because some of these show up as both Bible and manuscripts. There's the Bible harmonies. So yeah, you may find that title is not the best way to sort. Maybe you want to sort by author, or you want to sort by series, or sort by type. And then even more than just these basic four, if you right click at the top of this, whatever you call this, this is almost like a spreadsheet. It's almost like a a database or a spreadsheet. And there are a lot of other headings that if you wanted to select them, you can. Like if it's really important to you about the publisher, you can toggle that on and off. Publication date might be useful as well, where you can sort that by oldest to newest. So yeah, just kind of play with that, and I find simpler the better. I usually don't have publisher selected. I usually don't have publishing date selected. If you don't like those images on the left-hand column, then deselect that. I kind of like having them there. They're small enough, and visually they help me, especially if I know what the cover of the book looks like and my eye can spot it quicker than reading the title. And then, as always, you can type a word up here in the find resource. So if I want to just find anything on Philemon, I just type the word Philemon in there, and that's going to narrow my library down to anything that has Philemon that's mentioned, which is a whole bunch of commentaries, or Bible commentaries or monographs, a Bible study there. So yeah, just typing the word in that find, the find box really helps you to filter through your library as well. Excellent question. What other questions do you guys have tonight?
My canvas in the tools
Mm-hmm.
is kind of grayish, but it allows me to click on it. And when I click on it, it freezes the entire Logos. I got to go into like Task Manager and turn it off.
Really?
Yeah.
How
So
old's the computer?
Yeah.
how old it's not that old. It's got Windows 10 or whatever the latest. It's got it. How old is this? I think it's 2.5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might be something that give a call to 1-800-87-LOGOS and
Okay.
ask for their tech support on that.
All right.
There can also be, when you go into support, there is a forum.
Oh, okay, good. And we can search the forums. I'm sure there's tons of questions that have already been asked in there.
Right. So when you go into the forum, which is community.logos.com, and yeah, and you search for Canvas crash or Canvas freeze or Canvas, you're going to find, yeah, there's a lot of, so you may find some support there. But if those search results are kind of overwhelming, then it might be quicker just to call and talk to a tech person.
All right. Yeah, thanks. I'll give the forums a shot first and see what I can find and go from there.
And I do like, I post on here occasionally, community.logos.com, these forums. And it's a good place to bookmark and check it out. What else?
How did you get onto the store? I don't see that.
The store on the website or the store in your program?
In the program.
Okay, in your program.
Or I can go to the website if I need to.
Yeah, you can, and it's probably safer to do that way. But on the top right, near your account settings, so you got your hamburger icon, you have your account settings, your logo there with your picture in it, and then you have the shopping cart. That's the store icon.
Okay.
That opens up the library to the resources that are in the store. You can also get there from the library itself by toggling between yours and the store.
Oh.
So you can get to the store lots of ways. They love to sell you books. But by going to the store, and then of course there's 87,000 resources there. You don't just want to browse through. But if you want to find a particular author that you're interested in, maybe you're a big C.S. Lewis fan, so you can just start typing in C.S. Lewis, for example, and that starts to narrow down. But some of these are not books by C.S. Lewis. Some of these are books about C.S. Lewis.
What was that name you wrote about Snodgrass or something?
Snodgrass?
Yeah, the devil. I'd never heard of it. I heard of it about a month ago, and I thought, well, that's a strange name. The devil, something like that. I'm not pronouncing it right, but it's something like Snodgrass was the devil trying to figure out how to screw over, believers.
Oh, okay. Or screw tape. You're talking about the screw tape?
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Snodgrass screw tape. It's
Yeah.
kind of thing. Screw tape. That's who it was.
Yeah. That's a C.S. Lewis character in the screw tape epistles, I think, or the screw tape letters. Yeah, the screw tape letters. So if there's something like that too, let me see. I bet you if I open up my fact book and put in screw tape, oh yeah, there's a lot in here in the fact book. So Screw Tape's Master Plan, a satirical take on Christianity and culture.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Charles Anderton. And then, of course, the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. A monograph resource, and I actually have it in my library, so I can just click open. Oh no, it says you do not have a license to view this resource. I thought I did. There's a book I don't own. Let my wife know. All right, what other questions do you guys have? This is good. You guys think of things I would never think about.
Pastor, I have a couple of questions.
All right, Bill, what you got?
One is in the search. I found that as I'm trying to go through a Bible study, of course I'm not into the language. I don't have that skill, but I I discovered some things about the search that has been helpful. And one of the resources I bought is a Bibliotheca Sacra,
Oh, yes.
and it's just been a marvelous resource. They had it on sale uh, at one point, and I bought that.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to search your resources, it's just been really good for me. And one of the other things that I I use I'm on a uh, Apple machine, and they have a program called Notes or Pages. It's called
Uh-huh.
Pages. And so as I'm assembling a Bible study, transferring passages and searches from my resources has been really a great way for me to do a Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone asked last week, I think they said, how can you import your notes? Well, the notes that you went over last week, I haven't gone very deep into that, but I am able to use personal books to bring those Bible studies into the Logos program,
Mm-hmm.
and that way I have them available to me there.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a great way to do that. And if you're accustomed to making personal books, I do a lot of that. And a lot of our studies at Austin Bible Church become personal books for future reference.
I know that using the Mac Pages uh, app is easy to use with Logos, and
Okay. Well, then there
it's
you go. You may prefer to just continue to use that, and then, you know, as a separate app, you know, that's apart from Logos. And then, you know, the cut and paste feature of the clipboard is simple enough to take things from one to the other.
right. And just to be able to search your text
Mm-hmm.
or your resources and then copy and paste it paste the notes and where pages it was on,
Right.
and all of that is just really helpful.
Yeah. And so does Apple Note, does that have a useful search feature to go through all your research to find?
Well, I've been turning them into personal books and
Oh,
doing
okay.
my
Well, then you can
searches.
search it inside Logos. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's the way I've been working with it.
Okay. Well, along those lines, since you brought it up, in the search panel, I have found something helpful in the sense that um, because I do have my personal books in there in not a Bible search, but in a basic search where it says search all text and all resources. So if I want to search all my text for alpha or alpha moment, okay, I can search for alpha moment, and I should put those in quotes so they come up as a phrase rather than a separate words. But when I search for alpha moment, it's curious because in addition, it puts your personal books right there at the top. Okay. And then it'll give you the other books in your library as well. So I like that because most of the personal books that I've added is my own stuff, not always. But if I want to search for hypostatic union, I've got 33 results in my personal books, and then I've got 2,000 results in everything else. Okay, so there's a lot there on the hypostatic union. but I like having my personal books here at the top, because then I can, at a glance, I can say, oh, you know what? I addressed that in the Philippians notebook, or I addressed that in the Proverbs notebook of Proverbs 1 through 9, or the Isaiah notebook. It showed up once there, or Colossians, or basic doctrinal studies. Oh, it's even in the Austin Bible Church Constitution. Okay. Or in all these different Grace Notes courses that we've taught over the years. So, yeah, having that available in personal books. Now, something else you can do too is where it says where you're searching in all resources, go ahead and change that all resources. By clicking it, it'll open up your options there. And if I want to limit it only to Bibliotheca Sacra, for example, then I can do that. And now I'm only going to be searching for that journal. Or if I want to search for Bolander, scary enough, I can search for 36 resources that contain the name Bolander. That's obscure enough that there aren't any real theologians that pop up. But you do have, so you'll notice there's nothing there in library downloaded, but there is the 6 results there in my personal books.
One other thing I've noticed, if I may, under tools, I don't have the same program that the rest of the church has. I downloaded a free option maybe a year or 2 ago. And by the way, these classes have really helped expand what I can do with the program. It's just amazing to me.
Right.
But one of the things I've noticed under tools, there's a lot of things that I don't have available to me, such as Canvas or Sermon Builder, a diagram, sentence diagrammer, or things like that.
Okay.
I don't have those available, but I have found that Logos will make available small packages that are really helpful.
Right. Well, let me check to see. I will call Logos tomorrow. It's 5:45 on the West Coast, and I will ask them about that. About, I believe I have you in the Faith Life group.
Yes.
And this is something that we are exploring right now. And I talked about this with Carl, the difference between a member and a follower. So Beasley. There you are. Okay, as a follower. Let me call Logos in the morning and see if I can get you that Logos package. So if I forget, send me an email.
Okay.
And we will see if you have that license. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll do that.
I don't have a lot of those either. Canvas, Sermon Builder. So the icons are there, but they're gray.
Okay.
And I suspect maybe that's why when I clicked on the canvas, even though it's sort of a hazed icon, it's not a very vibrant as the other ones. So I clicked on it anyway. Yeah, so yours have much more color saturation.
Okay.
So my canvas it's sort of hazed out. My Sermon Builder is hazed out. I gotta click to my other screen here. What else? Sermon Manager is hazed out.
Okay.
Yeah, those 3. But Atlas, Factbook, Faith Life Assistant, highlighting information, media, notes, search, and text comparison, those are more saturated in color as to indicate that I can click and use them.
Right.
But
okay.
I clicked on Canvas anyway, just out of sheer morbid curiosity, even though it was gray, and
yeah.
That's when the window came up, but it did freeze my program. So I'm thinking I'm in the same camp as Bill, where I whatever package I have doesn't have that feature activated.
Right.
I don't think I have it either. I mean, I thought I had it because it does show up, but you're right, it's kind of grayed out. And then when I open it, like the sermon builder, it says the sermon document creates a shareable manuscript from the sermon, speaker's notes, shots for the, but maybe I hadn't built anything. I don't know. Maybe I have to add something into it.
By the way, let me put this in your chat window also. faithlife.com. This is the Logos for the church. This is the license that you should have through Austin Bible Church, which is going to include the Logos Bible software resources, 260 resources, also Faith Life TV, Faith Life courses. Yeah, these are the resources included. Features and data sets. So there's the features. And this is where maybe Canvas is not there. And Sermon Builder's not there. And Sermon Manager's not there. So, okay, yeah. Clearly this is not including all of those other resources, or those other features is what they're called, features.
Oh, so okay. So then what we're seeing matches what we're supposed to see according to
Right.
this.
So there's 9 courses that are unlocked for you. Study the Bible with Logos on Jonah, Mobile Ed, the gospel message in the early church, Jesus and the witness of outsiders, quick start for Logos 9. You got 2 audiobooks. Huh, okay.
All right, so that's good to see then. So if we have if we see something that we're wondering if we need to have it or not, we can compare it against this list.
Compare it against this list, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're going to change this at any point. I have offered different suggestions, like adding the New American Standard Bible, for example. That really ought to be included in here. I don't know why it's not.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that, like the Christian Standard Bible and the NASB
Right,
95, NASB 20.
right. Also, the Ron Rhodes text that we're using for our Through the Bible next year, that is available for Logos. It's $10 for those that don't have it.
Ooh.
All right. What other questions do you guys have? You're taking it easy on me tonight.
I think it was Doug had mentioned back on October either 30th or 31st about importing, I guess, your notes, like because you guys were talking about whether or not it was in Adobe PDF format or Microsoft Word format, because that made a difference on the ability to import into Logos.
Yes. So let me show you how that works. And I want to make sure you have it under Tools. Do you have the Personal Books option that allows you to add a personal book?
I don't have it.
I don't see it. Is it the very top? Where
Well, it
was
might
your?
not be until you go down.
Oh, it's further down.
Under Utilities.
Okay, let me check.
Yeah. Oh, you add that to there. Okay.
So if you find it way down here under utilities, then I recommend you can right click it and you can pin it to the top. Or you can even make a toolbar shortcut there. Carl, have you found it yet?
Yep, I just pinned it to the top.
Okay, cool.
Now I'm having to toggle back and forth between
Oh,
go
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
the
Between
logo.
logos, go to meeting. So once you open it, now Bill has already made some personal books, so this would be populated with the books that you've previously made. But even if it's empty, you can always click Add Book, and it's a pretty straightforward process. You fill in the title and the author and all this basic information here. You can add whatever type that you want to have it referenced as. Most of what I do, I just put as a monograph. So let me, and then let me show you, maybe if I showed you one of the ones I've already done. So I've done too many here, but so here's the Romans series notebook. So yeah, these fields are just here. It might be better to do a blank one, actually. But once you fill out the data there, and then you can put a cover image on, you can add a file, the body files. They've got to be in docx format, okay? They got to be in docx format. And this one is giving me an error message because I no longer have the directory available where I originally built that, because that was last built in 2014. So yeah, if you want to have a set of anything, let me pull this up. So these are my personal books, including Basic Doctrinal Studies, the Daniel series notebook, Colossians, any of these studies that you know that we've done, and you want to make a resource like this for your Logos library, just let me know. And what I got to do though, I've got to send you the Word document and a cover image so that when you go to build your own, essentially you're going to be building your own. There's no way yet for me just to share a personal book. I wish they would do that. Several times we've discussed why can't they make you do that, or let you do that. But I can give you the source files, the Word document and the image for the cover, or make your own cover. Some of my covers, let's see, information. Yeah, so I don't even have a cover image for some of the early ones I made. Some of the later ones that I've made, I just use the PDF cover as a cover. Some of them I use a headshot of my own image. That's scary. I look younger back in those days. But essentially, you just take a Word document and you take a JPEG or any kind of an image, and then you click Create. And so let me open up this tool again, because this one here, we'll just make a new one. Once you add a file, any Word document, you add and it doesn't even have to be a Bible study document. It could be like a church constitution. It could be an email you got from somebody, just any Word document. And if you want it to show up as a resource in Logos, you go through this and you turn it into a personal book. And then you click the Add Book button or the Build button, and it's going to create it. Anyway, I recommend that. And all the Bible verses that are in there, they're going to be hyperlinked. You can also tag topics. You can tag other things. So there ought to be a tutorial on personal books. That would really be helpful. Let me see if I can find one for you.
Pastor, if I may say while you're looking,
Uh-huh.
I've discovered that I can use a lot of the files that I research and look online. Maybe I've heard another pastor teach something that I was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a PDF file. And so what I do is I can copy and paste that PDF file into a page app that I have, and then transfer it into a docs
Right.
format, and then import it into my own personal books where I can search it.
Yep. That's a good way to do
been
that.
helpful.
And depending on what the source file is like, sometimes it can be a little messy if there's things embedded and whatnot in the PDF. But yeah, what you want is you want the cleanest docx that you can to compile this personal book with it. So I did find out under the personal books control panel, I came over here and selected the help about this feature. And that's what opened up the Logos help window, and specifically to the personal books entry. And so this will be worth reading through. Yeah, this will give very comprehensive instructions on how to do it. Also, paying attention to personal book syntax. It's useful if you use heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 in your Word document, then those are going to be picked up as table of contents items for you in your resource. And then the different hyperlinks, if you're going to put, if you're going to versify it, if you're going to put topics in there, things like that, milestones. If you're a programmer, then this personal book syntax thing here, including fields, Bible text, red letter, all of this stuff. Yeah, a lot of this is way over my head, but just read through that, and I think you'll do real well with it. All right. Well, thank you for that, and thank you, Bill. Sometimes too, I've taken things that other authors have come up with, like if I've been at a Schaefer conference, if I've been, so let me turn off my own name there. And let's find some personal books that are not mine.
Yeah, no.
Let's see it. Personal book. Well, I'll hunt for that for next week. I'll have a better answer for you for next week.
So I don't have Word. I have the LibreOffice, but I think I can save. I think that allows me to save it as a docx, I believe. But another thing with the Adobe, so if the notes are in Adobe and I'm trying to put them into something that I can edit or put more space between each line item, for instance, in an outline, right? So if the outline's, point 1, sub point A, sub point B, and I want to put some space in there.
Okay.
So I've taken yours on your website, the PDFs and then tried to paste them in a LibreOffice type document.
Right.
But the Greek and the Hebrew doesn't always carry over neatly. Sometimes that gets
Yeah,
really messed up.
I don't know how well LibreOffice does with Unicode text. And so with Unicode, which if it's full Unicode, then it'll support right to left, it'll support diacritical marks. And I don't know how well LibreOffice does with that, or how well like Google Docs or some of those other word processors do with that.
Yeah, I think it offers me an option to save it as a docx. I believe that
Okay.
is an option. So yeah, if you have the docx, I believe I might be able to get it translated over and into the books in Logos without needing Microsoft Word on my computer, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just shoot me an email with whatever docx you'd like, and I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm. What I probably need to start doing, I'll ask Adam about this. If we set up a like a shared folder on the website or something, so that as soon as the personal books are finished, then that docx and that cover JPEG can be placed in there. I think too, we've got a great place in Faith Life. That might be where we share under content, no, under Bible study, where we share Logos documents. This might be a good place to share. It's like I've got prayer lists and reading plans, notebooks, visual filters, a canvas. So yeah, I'll see if we can share the personal books in here as well somewhere. I'm going to add that as a suggestion complaint. Make a suggestion. We need to be able to share personal books. So yeah, I'll make that a suggestion. Because I can't be the only pastor that wants to do that, to share the personal books with the church members that have been a part of that study. For example, part of the Colossians study, or the Philemon study, or the Daniel study, things like that. I did find a way to sort library for only the personal books. It was a filter underneath called edition. It's an edition filter, not a type filter, but an edition filter. So there's the Logos Research Edition, there's the User Created Edition, there's an ebook edition and a Logos Reader Edition. I'm not even sure what some of these are. Looks like I have resources in my library that are not full Logos editions, but under User Created. So yeah, you can find some of these. So Stephen McDowell had a document on the Bible, slavery, and America's founders. And I thought it was very useful. And I took it as a Word document and I formatted it with the headers and the sections there, so that you've got a table of contents in there to navigate your way through, and made it a personal book. So I thought it was good information by Stephen McDowell. But yeah, you may find a lot of those. Here's Robbie Dean's Crisis in Pastoral Leadership. And the neat thing too is, if these guys are using fonts that are way too small, Logos lets you, you know, blow them up, get them to where you can read them. Yeah, I recommend these personal books, and you'll find them very There's one Pastor Cliff had a study on the gift in Ephesians 2:8. The gift is not faith. The gift is salvation. So I made a personal book out of that. All right, well, it is, what is it, 8:08? We got time still. I think we've been going till 8:30 on most of these classes.
What was
other
that,
questions?
Stephen? What was that Stephen McDowell book?
Stephen McDowell, and you can Google it and find it on a website.
Slavery and something.
Slavery and the Founding Fathers.
Is that the same? Is he related to Josh McDowell?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Bible, slavery.
The Bible, Slavery, and America's Founders. Yeah, if you Google that, you'll find that on the internet somewhere.
Okay.
And I clipped a picture of the author. I think I stole that picture from, who knows, Amazon or somewhere. Maybe it was from his own website. But I just clipped a headshot of the author and made that my book cover, and turned this essay into a personal book. So now I've got it in Logos, because it comes up every now and then. People ask, well, what about slavery and whatnot? Does the Bible sanction slavery and different things like that?
A different question. On October 30th, when Dave and I were in your library, you had on your Logos that display with all the different aspects of language structure, and was that the Bible? Was that the sense lexicon? Is that what that was? It was like a chart. I don't say it was a chart. Maybe it was maybe I guess like a table sort of layout. It had aorist, it had present, passive, and all these different.
Right.
It was a nice layout of all those different things, and
I remember that. So what we were doing, we were looking at a passage, and we'll go to the New Testament and find an easier one than the Hebrew. So Romans 8:28. Just pick a verse we like. And so in a verse like this, I right-click the verse. I don't want to select the word and, I want to select the reference, Romans 8:28. And then in the, I believe it was in the exegetical guide, this is what we were looking at. All right, so in the exegetical guide, and you've got different panels, including my own content where I've referenced Romans 8:28 14 times. Let me close that. The textual variants, the grammars, grammatical construction, the word by word. Oh, you know what? The thing you're asking me about was not in the exegetical guide, it was in the word study guide. So let's go ahead and pull up OIDA. This is kind of nice. The word by word is really nice to go through any verse, word by word, like Romans 8:28, and you can see the Greek words there, and then the English translation on the right, and just hovering your mouse over a word like we know is going to highlight the oidamen there on the left. And then word by word is just, as you scroll down, you can see every Greek word in that verse. And then by opening up OIDA now we got the word study here on OIDA. You were asking about these morphology charts, and that's up here. The morphology charts is probably an interactive that you may not have with your unlock level. So is this the chart you're talking about?
Yep, I believe that's it.
Okay. So yeah, this is a pretty handy little utility, and so you can see
Did
You
you
know, so
highlight it, Bob, or did it come highlighted?
this came highlighted like you see it here. Yeah. And so you can see your indicative verbs, you can see your participles, your infinitive, your subjunctive, your imperative. Now, if you want to just limit one of those, then you can click, I think you can click. Yeah, if you only want the perfect active of we know. Yeah, this is a pretty spiffy little utility. It also gives you the number of usages there so you can see how common it is. Yeah, so that's a utility. Now, it's called an interactive morphology charts. And I did remember seeing just tonight under tools, at the very bottom of your tools list, I saw it after we got down when we were looking for personal books. You've got your interactive media here, and this will give you a good list. I'd be curious to know, what do you have available as an interactive media? That might even show up in your library as well.
I only have 3 things in my interactive media.
What do you have?
I have to just here. I have before and after biblical sites. That's the
Okay.
first one. The second one is biblical event navigator. And the third one is weights and measures converter.
Okay.
That's what I got.
So
Well,
it'll show, if we were to get it, it would show up as interactive morphology charts.
it would, yes.
Carl said he had it. Carl, didn't you say you had it?
Mm-mm.
No, not under interactive media. Now I have a media button under tools, but that doesn't look like the same. It looks like a lot of videos.
So we had a word study open on OIDA, and this morphology chart, when I hover over it, in the tooltip that pops up tells me it's called Morphology Charts Interactive.
Okay.
And then sure enough, when I come over here to tools, and I go all the way down here to the bottom, I'm looking at my morphology, I'm looking at my interactive media. There it is, Morphology Charts Interactive.
Yeah, I don't have that in that list. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to make a note. I'm going to.
That must be part of the extra.
Well, I'm curious because, yeah, so many of these features I don't remember. Let me add a note. Interactive media. How to get them. Okay. So I'll see if my coach, we've got a Logos coach, he's our success manager for Faith Life Equip. We'll see if he can answer that for me. Because if you only have 3, and there's obviously many more, much more than that, then what is it that unlocks those? What is it? What are the features that add those and that functionality of having those? Because some of those are so fun.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that morphology chart.
So like the Bible Books Explorer, the Bible Outline Browser, the Canon Comparison, the Greek Alphabet Tutor, Hebrew Alphabet Tutor. I mean, there's a ton of these, and they're all very useful. Names of God, narrative character maps. So yeah, if I was to count all of these, I just got to find a way to list those. All right, I'm going to do some research and we'll talk about that. It won't be next week though. We're not having a Logos class next week. I'm not available next week. So that's December 7th. So we'll do this again on December 14th. And I think between the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th, those are going to be my last free Tuesday nights for a while, because every Tuesday in 2022 is going to be a Through the Bible class at Austin Bible Church. All right. I am curious on Logos. Interactives. They're like responsive textbook illustrations and diagrams. Yeah, this is the one on the Psalms. I like this one a lot. Availability. Starter and up. Silver and up.
So what do we got? We got Logos 9 starter.
Yeah, let me, Carl, if you don't mind, or Bill or Ed, anybody, if you browse to that website, you see right now I'm logged in under my account, so most of these I already own. But when it says it's available, it's included in Logos Starter and up, that should be virtually free or dirt cheap for you guys. I'd be curious to see what the price that shows up for you to get a Logos 9 starter.
Which is what we got from being in the church.
Features
Yeah, but
interact.
they don't count. That's the thing. Logos for the church is not counted as Logos as a starter package. And I'm starting to think that we need to get everybody to go to Logos and obtain a starter package.
Okay.
Starters
Hey,
$294.
I'll bring my computer in the morning and we can look at that.
We can look at it tomorrow morning. Yeah, just bring your computer with you. Carl, did you see a price on Logos 9 starter?
Yes, $295.
Oh my goodness.
$294.99 to be exact.
I bought Accordance a few years ago, hadn't used it. It was like more than that.
Right.
So that's,
Here we go.
well, there you are.
Oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
I just realized if I opened with an incognito window, then he wouldn't remember me. So what comes with this? It's over $3,000 value of resources, 70 digital books, includes the Bible knowledge commentary. Now, Carl, if you did this, then you'd be able to come down here to the quick compare. You'd be able to come down here to the resources, and then you would be able to see the ones that you already own, and you can hide the owned books. And that might give you a better picture of whether you think it's worth $300 or not. Because look at that, it's going to include the New American Standard, it's going to include the Christian Standard Bible.
Oh, so you get some of those Bibles that we talked about. Yeah.
Get some of those Bibles we're talking about. You get 7 biblical commentaries, 9 dictionaries and encyclopedias. So this is coming with quite a bit. It's coming with more than just those interactives, some of which you probably already own just with the church library for Windows. Feature set resources, here we go.
Pastor, if I go under the Logos in my left-hand corner and do a drop down that tells me about logos, and then it tells me about my features that I have, features that are available. Such as it tells me I have a Logo 7 base package.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, we definitely have to get you updated on that, because Logos 9 is the current release that's going to have all these features.
Yeah, I've got 9.9.
And they just had an update today, I think. 9.9 SR1.
The morphology is not listed there.
Oh, is that right?
Even under silver?
Now I'm trying to follow Pastor Bob as he's scrolling through. Is that,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's interactive media. Is that where it would be?
Yeah, there's 28 of them there. So now if I go back to the top and we want to compare,
Oh, I see. Okay.
and I want to compare the features, and I want to compare the interactive media. All right, so 28 versus 42 versus 43. So morphology charts, they start to show up at bronze and higher. Bronze feature upgrade. $45 a month.
Okay.
But boy, the
Well,
value.
this is good. It helps sort of kind of demystify where the different features are buried.
You're right. This is a good web page to pay attention to and start filtering through, especially that compare option, where you can even do a custom compare if you just want to, rather than scrolling through all of them, if you just want to compare one versus the other. The custom compare will allow you to, but this isn't bad. Starter, bronze, silver, and full. But yeah, just looking at these Logos feature sets, bronze seems to be the one that really starts to unlock a whole lot more. What do you lose? Saying you don't lose anything really. With bronze, you seem to have all of them. Well, 42 rather than 43. There it is. Books of the Bible Interactive. That's the one. If you're going to get that one, you got to be silver and higher.
Or you can buy it separately if you saw something you really
Oh
like.
yeah, buy it separately, $39.99. Yeah.
I might buy that morphology separately if you could.
Right. Now I think once you start doing these a la carte, you're probably gonna want.
Oh, it adds up a bit more, but I don't really,
Morphology Charts is $7.99 if purchased separately. Yeah.
So that would that be for every word that you could put in there?
I would think so. Yeah, that would come up in your Bible word study window, opening up the morphology charts. Because you can just open this up by itself. I mean, you can drag morphology charts to the toolbar and then open it up anytime. And then if you want to do a morphology chart for any Greek word, you can just start typing it in and clicking it.
Does it do Hebrew too?
Yeah. There's the bar. So for $8, you can get your morphology charts.
Well, that'd certainly be a cheap
Mm-hmm.
add-on.
All right. Well, I'm glad I looked into that. Thank you for asking that. We all learned something here tonight. I didn't realize these feature sets were so. But again, notice when you do these upgrades, you're getting more than the interactive media, and you're getting these features. And 59 features. The starter set comes with 28 interactive media and 36 of the features, 38 of the data sets.
Well, it's worth it if you use it, but I'm still struggling to figure out one way to open it up.
Right. So yeah, logos.com/compare, and then different feature sets, different academic sets. Yeah, this is a useful layout on the web page. I'm glad we found this. And just the different libraries that are available too. If you want to go Pentecostal and charismatic, there you go. If you want to become Messianic Jewish, there you go. But I do recommend, I mean, if there is a particular text, I mean, if there's an author that you're definitely interested in, like Michael Rydell, and this Moody Handbook of Messianic Prophecies, you may find that this is, worth it to you, but then also just glance down and see if it's included in other features. See if it's included in larger libraries. And looks like this one is not. But if they are, down here at the bottom, not only is it going to give you a customers also bought box, it's also going to give you a box that tells you this resource is included in these larger packages. And so you'll be able to consider buying that larger package to get one of the resources that you want. So for example, BDAG. This is my favorite Greek lexicon. Wow. So if I'm looking for a BDAG lexicon to add, they've got a bundle that includes BDAG and Halot. They've got BDAG by itself. They just recently released a couple of expansions to BDAG, a bibliography expansion.
17 volumes.
Mm-hmm. And an ancient text expansion. That one's in production now. It's about to be released. I've already pre-ordered it. There's a 25-volume bibliography expansion. But here's the original. This is the original BDAG right here, the 3rd edition, most recent edition, the best edition. It's $150. And I mean, if you're going to spend that kind of money on it, it's worth scrolling down and looking and seeing if there's a bundle. So here, this title is included in the following collections. So there's a BDAG Halot bundle, and there's the Platinum Legacy Library, and you can see all of the different collections. Logos 6, Logos 7, Logos 9. They started to make some of these legacy libraries available because they're cheaper than the current Logos 9 library. But basically diamond and up, looks like.
Some of these books that are so old, they're free access on the internet too.
Well, yes, but the public access, you can get a scanned image, you can get a PDF image and so forth. But what you want is the full Logos edition.
Oh, where it interacts with it. Yeah.
Where it interacts, where it clicks, where it links. Right, absolutely. So when you're going to open up BDAG on OIDA, now we've got the full Logos package here on BDAG. Yeah. All right, well, we'll do more on this in 2 weeks. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, wait a minute. So this will take you to some Homeric quotes too, like right at the top of the page? Four
Yeah,
quotes?
so you can see Homer and later, and you can see Herodotus, and so
But if you click those, it takes you to those.
right. So
Oh,
there's
no,
Socrates on economics. And if you have both the Greek and the English translations, you can have them side by side. Yep. So they're all clickable. They're all explorable. And there's getting to be more and more of them all the time. They're really emphasizing the bibliographical references inside of BDAG and making those available for Logos users. So, for example, here E.T. Robertson talks about it.
they give them to you, but then you've got to go look them up.
Oh yeah, you got to do the homework. You got to do the research.
But with this, you just click on it and it's right there.
Right. It saves you from walking over to your shelf, pulling the book down, and even seeing. And so you're like right here. Here's this is oida with the accusative person and the participle in place of the predicate, and it shows you an article in Blaster, Bruner, or Funk, or an entry in A.T. Robertson where he talks about that, and it opens it up right to page 1103 so that you can start reading through it. It is just so powerful.
It is
in all the research that you're going to be doing on that. All right, so we've done that. We're good. All right, guys, see you next week. I'm going to stop the recording.